15 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto Ron Elvis in the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. I'm really excited about tonight's episode. We are getting closer to the biggest Bills game that I can really remember in some time, especially with the playoffs on the line and all that carries. Joining us tonight, as always, my co-host, Adam Dump Truck Rupsick. DT, man, we did not expect that game last week, but boy, did we brave through it. Holla at the crew tonight, DT, man. What's up, man? Holla at the crew. How you doing on this Wednesday? What's up?
Nickel City. What's up? Nickel City, Nickel City. We ride 1-0. 1-0. Need
That's
3
right.
more. We needed 4. They'll go 4-0 the whole time. We knew that. Got the first one done. I was standing right next to you all day Sunday, literally all day Sunday, as we'll get into today. But 1-0, you know, it wasn't pretty, but 1-0. That's what we talked about. You said it all week. You know, it could be 3-6, could be 2-0, 1-0.
Survive in advance.
Yep.
Survive in advance. Shout out to your roommate Zach. I mean, who named the episode for tonight, because that's actually what it's all about. Is it's kind of like I was saying last week, the NCAA tournament. Just you find a way. You know, that's all you got to do. You don't have to have style points anymore or anything like that. Obviously, the Bills, if it was a style points contest, we would have lost that one last week against the rookie Skylar Thompson. Yeah, listen, it was an interesting game. It was a lot of fun. The tailgate was beautiful. Shout out to Nickel City Crew and all of our guys out there. You know, Big Ben Fennell and his wife Anna Kay, and I mean, just the whole crew was out there, man. I mean, we had a great time. Kenny was out there. Great food, great times. And then the news showed up on us, man. So we gotta shout us out, man. I mean,
Erie News Now. Erie News Now. Shout out.
Erie News Now. Please go check it out, Nickel City Crew. Your boy Rob, your boy Crip. I made the little opening or whatever. I guess I was firing up the crowd and firing up the shout song, and all of a sudden I'm on the news. So it's kind of like that. Hey, mama, I made it. You know what I mean? I sent it to my mom and sent it to everybody that I knew. Like, look, I made the news. So that's really cool. They came out to kind of do a little feature on our good buddy Seth Brown, and I just didn't. I mean, that's the power of editing and producing. I didn't know that they were doing it on Seth, and all of a sudden, when I looked at the clip that Big Ben sent me, DT, I was like, hey, that's me. Like, and then I was like, that was just Sunday. I was like, that's us. So that was really cool, man, to see us out there, and I mean, we're celebrities now, man. Like, I'm WGR famous this week. Erie News Now. I mean, Nickel City Crew, we're doing some things, DT.
We're climbing this corporate ladder of fame for sure, man. It's Nickel City starting to gain some speed, and we're getting followers and supporters, which we appreciate gratefully. And
Absolutely.
it was fun. Sunday was great. We kind of teed it up to it was going to be a little colder, but no wind. The sun was out there, and couldn't have been better. Overall, obviously could have been a little warmer, but I told you as soon as we got in that stadium, that sun was on us. It was warm, and I was never cold all day, and we were there before day, right? We were there at 7 a.m. on the dot. We beat the lot attendants to even pay for the lot. We beat them there, and everything in between. So it was a good day. It went fast. A fun time as always. With the crew, and look forward to this week getting into that same run. We got a few more extra hours, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. We were at the lot. DT actually scooped me up and picked me up and took me to the game for a change, so I didn't have to drive. And I went up with DT, and he picked up a buddy of his, and then we cruised to the stadium. And he's not lying. We were out there before the sun was out. Like, we were
Yeah.
literally there. And then it was funny because we could say, as we were pulling up into the lot, like, you could see the outer edge of the grass lots there on California Southwestern, and it was like, just like little light dots. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Around the perimeter. I'm like, these are all the Bills degenerates. I like, look at all, like, these are all the crazy ones that are just as crazy as us to be out that early. And I say that tongue in cheek because those are the diehards. I used to do that all of the time. I used to be one of the
Mhm.
first peoples in the lot every single week, setting up the tailgate, setting up everything to go. And like, it kind of threw me back to those old days because, like I said, I don't go too hard anymore in respects to getting out there at the crack of dawn. But it was worth it for last week, and it'll definitely be worth it to do it again this week. So, as we got into the game, DT, I mean, this was something where the Vegas lines is 10.5 for the Bills, even up to 13 in some places, and we got Skylar Thompson, a rookie quarterback getting ready to play against us, and there's just no way that this game can stay close. And it was true to form. The only reason that Miami stayed close, DT, was because of our offense. Like, we let them stay in this game, and we let them kind of hang around, and shame on the Bills for that. And it's something hopefully that we learn from, because boy, we can't bring that same attitude next week into Cincinnati as we come and then we invite them into town, because I think that they'll make us pay a little bit more than the Dolphins did, man. Like, that was a crazy game. I did not expect it to be so close, and then how long it was, with how long the Dolphins were taking to get to the line and all the different delay of games that should have been called. Like, that was a long day. It was a 4-hour game. They even had to push back the Giants game, DT. Like, it was like an experience all in itself, just because of that extra hour and then the stress on top of it.
Gave him everything, Rob. Gave him everything. You alluded to it. We didn't, by any means did the defense, let up those 31 points
Mm-mm,
on
mm-mm.
them and get beat up in drives and anything in between. It gave them everything. Short fields, turnovers, literally a touchdown in one case off the fumble with Josh. And this is a tough league. It's the NFL. We say it week in and week out. You can't be giving teams anything, especially deep into the playoffs. And the next opponent for sure, and the opponent after that, if it's Kansas City, is going to be, even at a higher level of can't be giving them anything. You got to go out there and win the game, and because they're going to go out and do the same, with their game plan and winning the game in that regard. And got lucky in a way. Still in control. I think we were still in control the entire game. I was never really too nervous about it, but maybe a
Even when we
little
went
on,
down, you're better than
down
me.
three,
Yeah. I
yeah,
was like,
a little bit, but it was like this would have been the worst loss in franchise history. Would you agree, Rob?
yeah,
This
I
would have been the
couldn't.
worst loss in franchise history.
I was talking with one of my buddies the other day when I got back to Charlotte on Monday, and I was like, we were trying to figure out what would have been worse, and I can't really think of it. Obviously, the Super Bowls, are a quote unquote worse loss because it's at the final
Sure.
game, but you still
Yeah.
had to get to the final game, and you still were in the final game. There's only two teams left at that point in time. To lose to the Dolphins, 7 seed. They just introduced the 7 seed. I couldn't think. I had a tough time
Yeah.
thinking of another one that would have been worse. I really would have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, third string quarterback, a lot of injuries on the Dolphins side, coming back up to the cold weather of Buffalo to play again, and yeah, everything was against them. Everything said double digit Bills victory, and it started off. I mean, we talked could have should have been 24-6. At the end of the first half, 17-0. 17-point lead was the maximum lead the Bills had in that game. But it's just the factor of the crowd, I think, had a factor once we got going, and everyone thought it was what we expected, and we're kind of partying a little bit, like getting loud, having a good time. But then it was like we were talking. I mean, I'll admit it. Like, it was like, all right, let's when's our game plan to get out of here, beat the traffic. We've been out here since 7 a.m.
Don't tell our
It's gonna
secrets,
it's gonna be
DT.
a
Don't tell our
blowout. It's
secrets.
gonna be a blowout.
They
Um,
forced us to stay, man. They forced
yes,
us. We couldn't
forced
go
us.
anywhere.
Literally
I couldn't.
forced us.
I couldn't move. Like, I mean, we literally were there till the last first down. I think it was Devin Singletary on that last first down. We were trying to burn the clock, but it was like It was ridiculous. I could not believe. I mean, I kept looking at you in the first half, like, what is taking so? Like, this is like it's still the second quarter,
Felt
and then I'm
forever.
looking like it's still third quarter. Like, what is taking so long? It was wild. That extra 60
Yeah.
minutes, you never can really tell when you're in the game. Like, that was like the third longest Bills game they said ever at the stadium.
I thought it was the longest ever.
Well, at the stadium, it might have been, but it was third longest.
Yeah.
I know I heard Jeremy White on GR this week say that it was the third longest game, or Sneaky Joe said that. And yeah, like it was like third longest in the history of the Bills. Definitely, probably the longest at the stadium. That was ridiculous.
Definitely longest one I've ever been to. That's for damn sure.
Damn, yeah, you ain't lying about that. Listen, we got to talk about something from the Miami game before we transition over to the Bengals and the divisional round this week. DT, it's been a hot topic on GR all week long. If you've listened to GR, everybody knows the Nickel City Crew. I'm an avid listener. As I said, I'm a little bit WGR famous. I'll talk about that at the end of the show this week. I've been kind of going through and kind of calling up there a little bit more than I'm normally used to. Boy, DT, what is up with this Josh Allen long ball thing? Listen, here's one of the things that we've been, I wanted to get this off my chest because sometimes it seems like it's been something that it's either taboo or it's something where Bills Mafia stands up and then they're ready to come at you with pitchforks. I'm okay criticizing the quarterback when he doesn't play well. I've always been okay doing that. I've done it earlier this season when he was kind of going through that little funk after that Packers game. And listen, it doesn't mean that I like Josh Allen any less. It doesn't mean that I like the Bills any less. It means that I'm going to be critical and give a critical point about the quarterback and his performance. I think that that's allowed. It's definitely going to be allowed starting next season when he actually gets the bag and the bag actually comes onto the salary cap and it starts to be charged to us where, Brandon Beane's got to maneuver some pieces to make sure that he keeps everything intact because we're going to be paying the quarterback $40 million a year. So listen, Josh Allen is an excellent quarterback. He is a one in a generational talent. He's got traits that you can't teach. You can't teach the way that he jumps over linebackers and defensive backs and hurdles guys and takes them on. And he's the dog. And you know what I mean? I love that one shirt. Our quarterback is a literal buffalo. Like that's Josh Allen. I embrace all of those things about his game. It's really hard for me to critique him and then not accept some of those parts of his game. He threw the ball down the field very aggressively, DT, in the game last week against the Dolphins. Now, I heard Joe Marino on WGR today talking about how that was the game plan and how that was, it was drawn up that way. That's what they wanted to attack against the uber aggressive Dolphins defense. Where do you sit on Josh Allen and the downfield throws? I saw something on Buffalo Rumblings, a wonderful breakdown of all of the downfield throws. I think there was 13 shots downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a great breakdown of those, the all 22 view DT of like showing different routes, who was open, who were with some of the other options for Josh. It was really well done. And the way that I came away from it after all of the conjecture this week about the long ball is that I can't expect the great plays from Josh and then expect him not to do some of the knucklehead. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I need Sugar High Josh from Houston. I'm not asking for him to come back or anything like that and feed him a bunch of candy. However, I've got to accept the fact that he's going to give some bullshit along with the greatness because that's just going to come with it. I can't ask a cook to cook me a great meal and then complain that the kitchen is dirty after he cooks it. The kitchen might be dirty because he's been cooking. He's been in there, and tossing stuff around and slicing stuff up. The kitchen's going to be dirty. I'll grab, the Windex. I'll grab the 409 and I'll clean the kitchen after he's done cooking me my wonderful meal. I've got to take it. I've got to accept it with it. And I just want to know where you land because it seems like Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, we're a little bit, we're talking out of both sides of our mouth. We're saying, well, we want the long, we want the long ball, but please don't throw picks. Please don't throw incompletions. Like, well, what is he supposed to do? He's not going to complete every pass. So do we not want him to throw down the field or do we? Because I've heard some of the different criticisms when we weren't throwing the ball down the field and how we were kind of doing a little bit of more methodical and checking down. And we did that against the Rams. So where do you sit on this, DT? Because this has been like the hot topic all week long around Western New York and the sports community with the Bills.
Both sides of the mouth. You said it just like that. Beginning of the year came in, high power offense, nonstop, lighting teams up. What was the complaint? Oh, we can't be on Josh's shoulders so much. Other people got to step up. The game plan's got to be a little less Josh-centric.
Right.
He's going to get hurt, yada, yada, yada. So we went through a little stretch of the season where we were winning games handily, and Josh didn't have to throw for 350 and 3 and rush for another 80 to get the job done. As we gear up towards the end of the season here, getting into these playoffs, yes, the Dolphins probably didn't need it, but the Bengals and the Chiefs, look what it took to almost beat the Chiefs last year. Literally bomb after bomb after bomb.
Yeah, right.
the small portion we saw of this Bengals Bills game, a couple weeks ago was the Bengals were coming out with bombs and Josh was going to have to respond sooner or later. So in a way, I think the game plan, like you said, was to get aggressive with this aggressive defense coming at him, blitzing, heavy pass rush, get the ball out over top of the corners, and get this game over quickly. And they were on pace to do that. And then, obviously some mistakes kind of rolled it back in and got it rolling. But yeah, you're talking out both sides of the mouth. I agree, Rob. Like, when have we ever had a quarterback the last 20 years that could even make any of those throws, and now we're bitching because he didn't make 10 perfect downfield throws. And as you said, you kind of broke them down. So did I. Like, a lot of them were balls that should have been caught too. Khalil Shakir, great game. I'm not taking anything away from his game. We've been saying all year we want to see more 10. And maybe they were kind of hiding him till the playoffs. Hopefully that's the case, and he's a weapon for us on the Super Bowl run. But he had a huge 50-yard drop right down the middle of the field, right in front of us.
Right.
The pick to Smoke kind of stopped running on that route. Josh underthrew it a little bit.
I think that was on Josh. I think he put it in the wrong location.
Sure. But I mean, that was a hell of a pick too, right in front of us. I mean, a pick's a pick, but he made a great play on that ball in the season corner, to get that done. And, Gabe Davis, again, probably could have had that one. He jumped over the guy to get. And the first play of the game, Stephon Diggs was wide open on that. And it was it was the flag, got everything there. So the other ones were on the money. We're hitters. We're ones we were getting up and cheering about. And I'm not saying he's going to need to only be able to throw down the field to beat the Bengals and to beat the Chiefs, but I didn't mind him getting warmed up to have to do that if he needs to, in the next couple of weeks. And I think Josh's confidence might sometimes be his biggest, downfall at times, because he's like, let's put these cats away. This shouldn't be a game. Like, we're going to score 50 and I'm going to have, 6 touchdowns. And in a case where it kind of started reeling quick, but when we did have to reel, he locked in 2 touchdown drives. I was saying it all game. I was saying 3 turnovers. So now he owes us 3, right? He owes us 3, and he came down, bang, bang. Perfect throws on the money with pressure all day long, Rob. Like, the fumble touchdown, the blitzer, like, Josh the blitzer could have caught the snap before Josh. Like, that you got to secure the football. But the protection, but that also goes to the other side of, well, then let's get the ball out quicker. Let's get some slant routes so he doesn't have to get hit and, and sit back and throw these long balls, wait for the play to get downfield to throw them. Right. So I would agree. I would like to see, some lower
risk
yardage passage,
right?
If you will. But at the same time, because I'm sure on that all 22, on all those deep balls that weren't it, there was probably every guy was open underneath.
No,
right?
not every guy, but I mean, it was. There was a bunch. It was fun to watch. Yeah.
So I'm with it. I mean, I love QB1. I love 17. I'm never, if it costs us a game down the stretch, I'll criticize it, but I'm never gonna tell him not to do it.
Right.
And that's after since my whole Bills fandom, I've dreamed of a quarterback that could do something like this, and now I got one. I'm the last person you'll hear bitching that I don't want him thrown downfield is me, and I'm going to stick to that. Like, got a little sketchy, got a little scary Sunday, but at the end of the day, in control, and he won it. He almost lost his game, but he did win us the game. At the end of the day, being able to orchestrate and get downfield. So we'll see how it goes. But I think he's going to have to throw deep to beat the Bengals. He's going to have to throw deep to beat the Chiefs. And who knows, what the Super Bowl would entail if they make it, that route. But I'm fine. I'm comfortable with it. Yes, you can criticize, and I'm not yelling at anybody for criticizing by any means, but let him rock it, man.
Everybody's entitled. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and we're all Bills fans. We're all members of the Mafia, Nickel City Crew, so we're all in the same boat. But it just seems like sometimes if you say anything wrong about 17, they're ready to come at your neck. And it's like, listen, I'm not saying anything bad about Josh. I'm just critiquing what I saw. I would have liked in certain situations. It was really only one sequence for me. You were right next to me the entire game. That those back-to-back, long passes to Gabe Davis end of the game. You know what I mean? I didn't need that. It was that was
that was it. That,
yeah,
like
that
you
was a
said,
sequence that I just didn't need it.
series, there 2 series there really kind of magnified it because there was a feeling like, damn, we're kind of forcing stuff. And then the next series was first, second down, bang, bang. And then we're in third down real quick, and the Dolphins get the ball back, and we're like, what the hell? So I think that magnified overall being of like, oh, we got to be more conservative, to 20 years of people calling into GR saying we got to be less conservative,
Right.
So
Yeah, no, I mean it was interesting to see if you're interested in every single drop back. There were 13 deep balls on Sunday. You can head on over to Buffalo Rumblings there at SB Nation, and they did a great job. Shout out to Scarecrow, who I've known through that platform for a while now, and listening and watching some of his pieces and his work, and he does great work. He broke down all of them. He's got the all 22. He freezes them for you, shows you some of the other options on the route. So if you're interested, you can go over and check out that at Buffalo Rumblings. Listen, I mean, I'll take both of it. Like I said, I can't ask the cook to cook me a gourmet meal without expecting the kitchen to be a little bit dirty when he's finished. So I'll take it. It's okay. It was stressful. Sunday was very stressful. It was definitely more stressful than either of us anticipated. And I know that echoes for a lot of Bills Mafia, but we've got to take the good with the bad. We have survived in advance. Again, name of the episode, and we will just continue to move forward as we transition and we move forward. This is the rematch that never was. We're getting a chance to kind of see where we stack up. It was 7-3. I think it was second down when DeMar Hamlin went down. They had just completed a pass to T. Higgins, and the game's not over. Obviously, it's first quarter. We don't know. Boy, do the Bengals have a lot of weapons, DT. They've got a lot of guys that you could throw to. And I remember being at your house after the game and kind of talking to your roommates about, I'm just a little bit uneasy about how many weapons Joe has back there, Joe Cool. He's got a lot of different options to go to in this game on Sunday, and it's going to be kind of the onus on the secondary to make sure that they've got all of their T's crossed, I's dotted, because you slip up against this guy, he's going to make you pay. I know that his offensive line, we'll talk about that, is in shambles right now. So then make it worth it. Make it, get after this guy, because you give him too many shots and he can make you pay. He's got some elite receivers, man.
You look at 17's got to do his thing, this week, and I'm confident he will do that. Defensively, as you mentioned, the weapons, balance the scale. We talked about it all year, Rob. If we're, the secondary, we're nervous with Trey White out. Trey White's back. He's starting to get back into form. He's played his best game of the year was last game, and his best game of the year before that was the Patriots game. So he's starting to ramp up and get back into, hopefully lockdown form, which we're going to need on Sunday, 100%. But balance the scale. If they come at us with the weapons and we do get a little overmanned in that secondary, what do we got to do? We got to come at them on the front end of that and balance the defensive scale and bring that pressure. Obviously, Von Miller would have been a perfect piece for a situation like this, and that makes it harder to swallow. And because that's why we brought him in, for the playoffs, for the finisher, to beat to get the pressures on the Joe Burrows of the world. But we have to balance the scale, and that's what I'm going with all week. We got to bring the pressure to win this football game, Rob. Okay. There's going to be 3 offensive linemen maybe out for the Bengals coming in. Joe Burrow, no secret, taking the most sacks in the NFL, takes the sacks, takes the hits. But you let them get comfortable back there, we are going to get beat in the secondary. Trey White, might be able to lock down Chase, but T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, there's holes in the secondary. We know that. It's no secret. The rookies have done decent enough, but I'm still not picking them on a 50-50 ball with T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. So got to balance the scale. We got to bring the pressure. Got to get to 9. That's got to be, I think, priority number 1 this week. Got to bring the pressure, make him uncomfortable, because if he gets comfortable, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a shootout. And then we're going to have to rely on Josh, being Superman to get it done. So balance the scales.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure, it's interesting because when you look at the Bengals offensive line, they kind of they're right back where they were last year, where they've got some holes that they're trying to fill on the fly, and it's playoff time, and that's the worst time to be trying to fill holes and different things like that. But I mean, it's you got to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a disadvantage unless you take advantage of it. So I'm looking for the Bills to, I don't know how they want to deploy it. If it's like you're talking about in blitzing and Leslie Frazier wants to dial up some more blitzes than normal, I'm fine with that. You do put your secondary in a situation where they've got to, kind of be on an island if you're going to, bring extra pressure. But hopefully you get home and then it negates it all, to begin with. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting because this guy, he worries me in respects to the fact that he is Joe Cool. He is a quarterback that will take the hits. He'll hold on to the ball to let those, those long developing routes develop for his receivers. He's not afraid to do that. And, the Bills got to be up for the task. Offensively for the Bills, DT, what is it going to take? Because listen, the performance, it wasn't bad. It's just the fact that like there were a lot of, stalled drives. I listened to WGR and like it was funny because Jeremy White had like a great comment today it was, and he was actually talking about, just everything like, he was talking about the Chargers comeback the other day and things like that. And that the one comment stuck with me was that the offense, if you're trying to come back, the offense has to give permission for you to come back. And that was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, that's a gem. And that is so true because it doesn't matter. Once you get a lead, you've got to let them come back. It doesn't matter if the defense gives up touchdowns. You've already got the lead. It's up to the offense to continue to score. We had 5 punts in that game and 5 drives that stalled out. So, everybody wants to focus on the interceptions and different things like that. And I get it in the long ball and the incomplete passes. The 5 pumps are also drives that did not end in points for the Bills. So, we kind of seem to go through these mid-game lulls where the offense is stagnant. It's not quite moving. We can't get anything going. I remember in the beginning of the season where we kept getting lauded for having no punt games, like those times seem forever ago now. So I'm going to be really kind of squarely focused on the offense and kind of looking at it where because Von Miller is out, because Hyde still won't be back, because of a lot of things, with the secondary being so young and Kyrie Elam trying to come into his own, and Benford might have to play this week with Dane Jackson. I'm going to let the defense kind of get like a little bit of a pass this week. Like I'm really going to be focused on the offense, put up enough points, score 30 points, score 40 points if you have to help out this defense. I'm not going to lay everything at the feet of the defense this week if we don't come out on top. I'm probably more than likely going to lay it all on the offense to see how many points did you put up? How many stalled drives did you have? Failed drives, if you will. How many drives didn't end in points? In a game like this with a team that's capable of scoring, I want to score almost every drive. It doesn't necessarily have to be perfection in the park, but boy, I don't want to see 5 punts. That's a lot of drives. Now, this game, for whatever reason, had 16 possessions or 15 possessions each, which is crazy. That's not normal. Normally, it's right around 10 or so or 11. I mean, I'm looking for the offense, DT. Like I need them to kind of pull their weight. This is what we need you for. Von Miller is out. The all of the things that we just talked about with the defensive side of the ball. Like kind of carry the load. Get the water pail and carry your load today because it might be necessary on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at we don't pay anybody on the defensive side of the ball $300 million, Rob. And that's what it comes down to. Like, we expect 17 to win us games. Whatever he has to do it. We expect him to win us games, to win us championships. That's why he gets the 300 mil. What do teams do to the Bills? What's their main thing on offense to help the Bills to help prevent Josh and the offense getting on the field, right? Their long drives, get the run game in action, keep Josh Allen off the field. I'm not necessarily super afraid of Joe Burrow and we got to keep him off the field, but I think it's good for this team to, with kind of being a little spazzy last week, to settle in, get into some long, 7-8 minute nice drives where, you're keeping Joe Burrow off the field and you're kind of settling down as a team, getting into a rhythm, getting into a nice, calculation. And then the pressure's off everybody when it comes to that. The offensive line, dominates a drive on a 7-minute drive. Josh feels a little better about, time of possession and his reads. All the receivers are getting involved and getting more catches, not as many yards, but getting more catches overall. Everybody's part of the game plan a little more. So I think it's crucial to keep the Bengals off the field, kind of taste of the own medicine of what everybody tries to do to Buffalo. Do that to the Bengals to keep them off and to help your team kind of settle down, get into a rhythm, and control the game. Because this team can control a game. It's just keeping control of the game, for the Bills. Like how many we saw, all year. They've been basically in control all game. Even the games they've lost, they've been in control.
Gave them the Minnesota game.
So yeah, so that's kind of how I see the offensive. Yeah, do what you got to do to win, but maybe slow it down a little. Not because didn't like what I saw last week, but because just to kind of get into a rhythm of consistency. And at the same time, you keep 9 and those boys off the field, which I don't think is going to hurt because this secondary is going to take hits. They're going to take, they're going to take shots at this secondary, and they'll hold up. But there might be some holes, there might be some breaks, and that's where the time runs out. There's only so much time in a game, and
Right.
Bills go out, run methodical, get their points, and then keeping 9 off the field. I think is going to be a key for the offense to win the game. As we said, defense got to bring the pressure. Offensively, I think they got to slow it down.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because you don't what Miami was deploying defensively is not something that I think you should expect to see from Cincinnati this week. It said I heard on GR that there was the Bills and Bengals are bottom of the league in blitz rate, and we're both around 20%. And the Bills have kind of picked up their blitzing a little bit more since Von Miller has been down, but we're still towards the bottom of the league. So I don't think Cincinnati's going to blitz as much as Miami. Miami was literally covering zero and cover zero.
And let's be real, Miami's got a way better defense than the Bengals, I'd say. I think Miami's got better studs in all directions of that defense than the Bengals do. So,
yeah. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch and see what kind of, game plan they deploy. I don't think it's going to be something where it's a fire sale and they try to just get after Josh at all, at all cost and kind of leave their corners. I know Eli Apple's been a little bit banged up as well. So it'll be interesting, but I doubt that they're going to blitz with that kind of fervor and relentlessness and consistency that the Dolphins did. So you'll be in a situation where you can put together some drives. All the fans that were scared of all the different, deep balls and things like that this last week, you kind of get a chance to see how Josh is processing the defense, see where he is with his checks downs, different things like that. I heard that the running backs didn't get any touches in respects to, the passing game. James Cook, I know your boy Jimmy got no catches or no targets or whatever they call it in the passing game. So that might be something that you want to think about because, when you've got an offense that's equal to your offense on the opposite side of the field, it's always good to keep those guys on the sideline as long as you can, like you spoke to, DT. And then in addition, again, I'll keep talking about failed drives and I'll keep talking about punts and turnovers suck too. And the fumbles sucked. They gave up 7 points and like that, that was horrible. The picks, they suck too. You know what I mean? But like the punts, 5 punts is more than 2 picks. So like, I'm not necessarily as concerned about the picks as I am about the fact that, all drives are cumulative. We need to end them all with 6 or 3. And with the extra point pending. So like I'm looking to see the offense, man. My focus is going to be squarely on them this week and on Sunday at the Ralph. So we'll see how it goes. As we transition, DT, we are getting, I mean, I don't know what your stress level's at. It is Wednesday, but boy, as I was sitting there in the stadium, here's what I was thinking. As I'm sitting there in the stadium Sunday and I'm watching the game when Miami went up, I had to literally come to grips with that. I was like, I'm not ready for the Bill season to be over, DT. Like mentally, I was like, no, I didn't come into the game thinking that we could lose. I didn't, come into the game preparing for us to lose. I totally expected to be back here at the Ralph this coming up Sunday, which we are. And shit got real basically for like a quick second for me, like inside, like internally. I was like, oh my gosh, are we literally about to lose? Like, I'm not ready. How is your mind frame as we come into this game? Because this is an opponent that's equal, and I know it's going to get even harder from here, whether it's even Jacksonville or Kansas City. You would have to expect that it's going to be another harder test. If Jacksonville pulls off the upset and beats Kansas City, it's going to be for a reason, I would assume. So they will be a formidable opponent, even if we are able to get out of this game. Where's your stress level, DT? Because I'm starting to I was stressed a little bit yesterday. I'm definitely more stressed today, and I expect it to increase because even though I'm not prepared for the Bills to lose and the season to be over, I have to start to come to grips with it a little bit, so I'm a little bit more prepared mentally before I walk into the stadium. Because I tell you, I don't know what I would have done. I would have been a wreck on Sunday had we walked out of that stadium and we lost, because I was not prepared for the Bill season end last week.
Not even close, and it kind of crossed my mind. I'm taking a leak in I think it was the third quarter. I don't know if we were down or not, but yeah, it was like, am I really going to walk out of the stadium and lose to the Dolphins, right? But that soon went away. Got the confidence back. Personally, I've been okay this week. Sunday took a lot out of me. I know you had to drive back, so you can think a little, but still, Sunday was a long day, and it took a lot out of me. Started a new job Monday, and so I've been kind of cooking this week. Really, kind of just busy and not really time to think much, and
head down,
on the move and learning.
Sometimes that's the best way.
Exactly. So I'm personally okay, but I had a little panic. Not that I thought we were going to lose or anything tonight, but like a little panic. On the way home tonight, just like, damn. we got a divisional playoff game Sunday. Like this Sunday was my second playoff game ever.
Yeah, you
Going
told me that.
in
That's crazy.
attendance, and probably for a lot of people that was the case, right? A lot of people
Mhm.
in this generation that was the case. The second playoff game, because the year before was the 2 years was the COVID year, and
COVID
then
year, right?
last
Only
year
a
was we
few
only
people were
had
there.
one. So
Yeah.
his second playoff game, and now we're coming to like this is huge. Like this is
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
game. So I had a little bit of a like, damn, like I realized how big of a game this was, but it hasn't set in yet, and
Yes.
personally
Yes.
there's probably, I haven't focused, but I'm sure the next couple days and being off of work Saturday is probably gonna be the biggest time where, because game day is game day. That's a different, the tune kind of changes, like the stress kind of goes out. Like we're here it's game day. Like let's
Yeah.
go. Like the Rick Ross. Oh, like, let's go.
And that's that energy you
But
carry. Yeah.
yeah, but before that, yeah, I'm sure it'll ramp up. But I'm okay right now. But yeah, it's huge, Rob. Divisional playoff
I
game
know,
in
man. I
Buffalo.
know. I
Like
know.
I've never seen it, right? So I don't know how to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
feel like
You ain't
should I
lying.
feel bad that I'm not up right now? But I'm sure I will be by the end of the week. So
Yeah,
that's
man.
where I kind of stand with it.
A bunch of us, you're absolutely right. A bunch of us, that was the second game or third game if you were, having to
Yeah.
get down to Jacksonville like I did. I mean, Jacksonville was my first ever playoff experience after the drought had ended. And I remember walking out of that stadium. I was not mad. The couple, Jacksonville fans were trying to razz us. And I'm like, y'all, like, we don't even have a quarterback. Like, what are you talking shit to me for?
Yeah.
Like, we don't even, did you see us out there? Like, we don't have a quarterback. So, like, you know what I mean? I was just happy to be there, happy that the drought was over, and was just so happy about the weekend. The weekend was so much fun down there in Jacksonville. And shout out to Lot X, because we tore it down and we had a great weekend. And listen, last year, Perfection in the Park, right? That's when I started the podcast. That's when the crew was literally formed. And that was my second game. And then obviously, spoiled on that one. I mean, the greatest day I've ever had as a Buffalo Bills fan was Perfection in the Park. And then, last week was just, again, it was a weird day because we were out there early. So we're kind of doing the throwback tailgate where we're extended and we're out there all day. And then, you're expecting a blowout or at least a nice, easy game. And it was not that. And it was, definitely not just a blowout. It was not stress-free. So it's interesting because I'm carrying this game a little bit different as we're getting ready to come into this, because it is the divisional round. We wanted to see what this matchup was like. Part of the reason Monday Night Football was such a big deal, and I think part of the reason why the outpouring for Hamlin in a positive way came out the way it was, because everybody was watching. There was no other game on. There was, all eyeballs, all of the NFL peers, all of those guys' peers were watching. All of the fans were watching. There was no other distraction on that night if you were an NFL fan. And I think that kind of added to the heightened sense of urgency for the game, and everybody was getting up for it. So the fact that the game ended so abruptly, and now we're here, and then the scene's flipped. It's in Buffalo, and we're ready to go in Orchard Park at the Ralph. Like I'm just like, man, like this is like a big deal. Like my eyes get wide because of the fact that, like, this is a big deal. It's not a small game. Your season could be over. It could be Monday locker room clean out, or we could be talking about the matchup in the AFC Championship game. Is it at home? Is it in Atlanta? What's the case? What's going on? And can we beat KC again? And all the different things. And how happy are you that it's in a neutral field and it's great conditions? Yada yada yada. All of those conversations are yet to come, hopefully. And really, hopefully, Jacksonville pulls the upset, and then we got one more game, and then I can really have my dreams come true of an AFC Championship game, because I envy those 90s teams so much, and the 90s fans, because I was 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the Super Bowl run. So I wasn't able to go out and tailgate or anything like that in my jammies or anything like that. I was at the house watching the game. So, like, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the game. I'm excited for the opportunity that it presents. This is a formidable opponent, and I just don't take them lightly. I think this is a situation where everybody's just got to be on their shit. Everybody's got to be on their game. I heard that Damar Hamlin has joined the team. He's been at the facility, Sean McDermott said last week. I know he, checked out the team last Saturday during their walkthrough. And then, McDermott said that he's been around this week as well. So that's great. Hopefully that, continues to lift their spirits, and then knowing that their brother is okay and that he's on his road to recovery. I mean, this is on like Donkey Kong, as they would say, DT. Like, there's nowhere to hide. I've said that a few times this season. There's nowhere to kind of hide on this one. This is it. This is what you prepare for. Brandon Beane, his roster construction, It can be poke holes into. I know we, sign and try to bring back the band at the end of the year. We bring back Beasley, we bring back Smoke, and that's not necessarily a good sign. And then, you got Hodgins out there who's doing his thing with the Giants. And, I've heard that's been a topic this week as well, why the Bills let him go. I think it was just more of a roster construction thing because they like Jake Kilmore on the special teams, and it just wasn't a numbers thing for them at the time. So there's just it's nowhere to hide, DT. This is all eyes on the Bills, all eyes on the preparation and Sean McDermott. And I'm really, obviously 17. I'm just looking for their best. I need their very best. They know that they have to provide their very best, and I expect. I don't know what to expect. I think that's part of the stress. I don't know if they're going to bring their best, but I know that they're going to need it.
Marquee, baby. This is it. And the transition, as we talked about, from being kind of scarred Bills fans to new Bills fans.
It's difficult,
this year,
man.
I can remember one of our episodes where after coming off the loss of Miami, getting ready for Baltimore, oh, Baltimore's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to play a good team.
Yep.
Like it's transition now. Like if Tom Brady's on the come up, Tom Brady wasn't afraid of Peyton Manning and the Colts teams coming in and beating them in Foxborough, and this is what, hopefully we can transition to as a fan base and as a team of like, it don't matter. It don't matter. It's a big game. You can't overlook it, but we're the dogs. We're not underdogs. We're the mean dogs. Like, we're the favorites. Like, we are the Super Bowl favorites for a reason. 17 is the guy for a reason. Like, it don't matter who's coming in here. And that's kind of what I hope to transition to. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like you said it, you were a little stressed. I'm a little stressed. Every fan is, for sure. But we should start transitioning to, it's us. It's us. You have to come beat us.
I love that energy,
you have to
man.
come beat us. And 17 in particular, like, since the beginning of football time, the Bills' best quarterback leading up to Josh Allen was Jim Kelly, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So, and Jim Kelly was, good, didn't get it done in the big game, was kind of a jerk, didn't even want to play here when he got drafted, didn't have a great reputation when he was playing, around. 17 is the guy. Like, he's the community man. He's the family man. He's a physical freak. So how is he not looking like, I'm the chosen one? I am Buffalo's guy. Like, if he's not bringing us the Lombardi, who is, Rob? It has to be him. It has to be this team. It has to be, I mean, maybe not this, whatever, but
right. I understand what you mean. Yeah.
It has to be Josh Allen on this team. We have to transition to, it don't matter. It's a marquee matchup. It's a big game. We can't overlook the Bengals, but screw them, Rob. We are the guys to beat. We're the favorites. We're the dominant factors. Like, let's make this storybook cement us in history, as the beginning of a dynasty in the next 10, 15 years. You don't fuck with the Bills. And that's it starts Sunday. It starts Sunday, Rob. We go out and we blow out the Dolphins last week 40-0.
Oh,
like, well,
the tenor
you're
of
supposed
this.
to win the game. You're supposed to win that game. It's all good, right? But it starts with this one, and then the next one, as cliche as that sounds. But you go in there, and the Bengals are good. So what? We're the best.
I love it.
That's how we got to roll.
I love it, man. Listen, I think that it's a little bit of an adjustment period, like you said, because of the drought. Honestly, it has to be just that. It has to be the drought. The drought beat us down so much, and I know it beat me down as a fan so much because I think with the travel and the things that I've been going through. So, like, it was interesting that you say that because I'm having I'm still going through that. I'm still transitioning to that. This is all foreign to me, where
like,
my quarterback
is a good team coming in. Like,
right. And my quarterback's top 5 and like all that type of stuff. Like, I didn't have a top 5 quarterback at all during the drought. I didn't have, we're trying to piece together teams and trying to look at Paul plus Leslie and like, oh, the linebacking crew looks great. You know what I mean? And like, they're getting dragged out there. And like, it's like, oh, well, the defensive line, we got the Colt front, to be like, you don't even have a quarterback. Like, how are we going to win? You know what I mean? So it was always an uphill battle, especially against the Patriots in our own division. And like, it's still taking a little bit of time and a little bit of transition. I talked about it last week. Like, is this how other fan bases sounded back in the day? You know what I mean? After a game, like it's all a transitioning period for a great number of Bills fans of the Mafia. And I'm a part of that as well, because, even though I remember some of the 90s, vaguely, it still is a situation where I grew up in the drought. So like, I am a part of the drought. I'm a drought baby. I'm a drought Bills baby. And like, it was tough and it was hard to gain hope. And now we have every reason to hope. And it's still something where we're a little bit tentative to do so. So I definitely relate with that, DT, because I'm not there. I'm not on your energy yet. Like I'm just still like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm still more apprehensive than aggressively optimistic. And I hope to be able to channel some of your energy, man. I want to get some of that Rick Ross energy. Send that down here to
Yeah,
Charlotte, man. I need some of that,
let's
man, because
go.
I'm normally the hype man, as you saw on the Erie's news now. Like I'm the hype man, so like I get everybody loose and ready to go. Right now, I'm just kind of just sitting in the back watching. I'm just watching this entire week. I'm listening. I'm consuming everything like a nut. Like I'm just taking everything in because this is it. It does not get much bigger than this. Obviously, the AFC Championship will, be bigger than that, and obviously the Super Bowl bigger than that. But other than that, this is the biggest to date. This is it. Like, and then the fact that the Cincinnati game was not finished. It just leaves that sense of doubt. Like we didn't get a chance to see how that game ended. Even if it would have been a Bengals blowout or a Bills blowout or a tight game, 3-point game, it doesn't matter. We still didn't get a chance to see how it finished. So because of that, there's a little bit of intrigue. There's a little bit of unknown coming into this game because it stopped. And I'm excited. I'm ready to get it back on, man. Like I'm
Yeah,
ready for Sunday to
and
come, man.
I think there's a little like going on the Bengals themselves. I think they're kind of going into this like not that they got screwed, but just the fact of like everything happens, like we
Oh,
should
they
have
were
beat the
talking
Bills
big
and been
shit
up,
before the game. I
but
mean,
it's
Joe
like
Mixon was talking big shit before the game, talking
yeah,
about we the dogs and we the AFC champs and all this other shit. So like they are not lacking for confidence over there.
yeah. And then on the reverse end of it, it's like the Bills lost the 1 seed out of this, so everybody lost something for sure. So I think that MO and what they're trying to get hyped up about on the Bengals side of things, and she'll be squashed pretty quick with the Bills and show them like we know you guys are going to be around. We know Joe Burrow is going to be up there with Mahomes and Allen the rest of his career, but
But we
you
gonna be
know
here too.
yeah, and we're gonna beat your ass. Like let's go.
I
So
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. DT is he's got way
yeah,
more confidence than I do, and that's fine, man. I'm happy that at least life's about balance. At least you can bring me up for sure because I'm nervous. I'm not clear. I'm not pearl clutching, but I'm watching. I want everything to go well. I expected everything to go easily, and maybe that was on me. Last week with the Dolphins. Never underestimate anything in the playoffs, as the Minnesota Vikings found out. And as we've kind of really seen throughout history of the playoffs, this is a league that is a close league. It's always been a close league. They create parity. They created a salary cap. They do a rookie wage scale. They do everything that they can do to try to make sure that every team is 8-8, or obviously now a 9-8 or something like that. This with the no 17 game now. So it'll be interesting to see, man. I can't wait. I will be back up there. I've got the same routine, DT. I got to coach some basketball in the morning. I'll get on the road a little bit later than I wanted to, but still coach my son's teams and then hit the road. And I'll see you, man, sometime Saturday night, man. And I mean, we'll get together Sunday, man. And like, I don't know, DT. I'm excited, man. I am excited. I might be a little bit nervous, but I'm very excited. There's no place I'd rather be
sure.
than right there at the Ralph, man. And I'm really excited as we get ready for this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll leave you with this here as we wrap up. I don't know if you saw this week, but Von Miller brought in the replica trophy, brought in the
No,
replica Lombardi to the locker room,
no, I
put
did
it
not hear
down.
this.
He brought in the replica trophy, put it down in the middle of the room, and said, "You all, each one of you told me you'd do anything to get this."
Hmm. Mm. Wow, what a way to go out. Listen to that. You do anything to get it, and it's right there. So put in the work. Ooh, I like that, Vaughn. I like Vaughn is
Y'all
listen.
said you'd do anything.
Right.
Let's see if
So
you're about it.
let's see if you about it. Practice what you preach. I mean, I love it. Vaughn is he should be an invaluable piece of this team, and I'm really happy that he's a part of the Bills because hopefully he's rubbing off on Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham and AJ Epinesa and all those guys in that defensive line room because we're going to need them this week. This is a week where you guys can kind of get a chance to eat, make a name for yourself on the national stage against a beat up Bengals offensive line. So go eat, go make a name for yourself. Ooh, I like that, DT. What a way to end the episode, man. Listen, hit him with a go Bills on that note, man, because that was hot. I like that. That kind of reminds me like Pat Riley. Pat Riley was a known master motivator with the Miami Heat, and like he was known to kind of push the right buttons with those guys when they were making their title run with Shaq and D Wade, and he was able to kind of bring out the best of all of them. Even Udonis Haslem and every piece had a role to play, and he was great at pulling out and extrapolating the best from his team. So I like that, Vaughn. I like that a lot, man. As always, man, please spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit him with a go Bills, DT. Ooh, that perked me up.
Let's go. 2-0. Go Bills.
Go Bills, man. Let's do it.